Hey everybody, Ryan here from Cold River Supply. Today we're at SHOT Show 2024 and we're talking with Low Light Innovations, one of our housing suppliers, and we do a lot of awesome work with them. So we're coming here today to see what they got new coming up for the new year. What do you guys got?
All right, so this is the MH-1. It is our new housing. It's a new product offering. It's the world's first magnesium alloy bino, and it's fully modular. So every aspect of this housing comes apart. You can convert the pods into monoculars if you so choose. You can take the mounting interface off, put a ball detent, bayonet. Bayonet's kind of goofy, but you know, there's some department out there that wants it.
I'm sure there is.
The power source as well is completely modular. So the CR123 compartment comes off. You can put a AA on it, a AAA, pretty much whatever.
And
you
this
want.
comes off and also can be replaced with an external power adapter as well?
Absolutely. We do have plans as well for a external power built into the housing. So that is coming. In terms of IR illuminators, this prototype does not have it, but it'll have 2 IR illuminators, 1 low power for map reading and admin stuff, 1 high power for a spot.
Awesome.
The housing comes with manual gain, so it's a full suite housing. It lacks no features. You also have the fastest rotational shutoff in the industry with a mechanical shutoff system.
Just letting our audience know, when I picked it up, I was actually really impressed, and I'm sure if you're on the Night Vision Instagram or social media, you've probably seen the earlier prototypes of this housing with the wire over here. So it looks like you guys got rid of that, which was one of the things that people had their concerns about, let's just say.
Sure.
But it's still retaining manual gain.
Absolutely.
So how's it doing that, and how'd you guys get around that kind of engineering problem?
Sure. So that's a great question. So first off, we have a brilliant engineer working on the project. All credit goes to him. But essentially, we're doing a full PCB system. So you have Pogo pins that contact a PCB in the front plate.
Right.
And essentially that carries your power for manual gain, that carries your power for the IR illuminators. And basically, the rotational shutoff system, once it reaches this apex, it goes off of a track, so it's an instantaneous shutoff.
So why did you guys use the physical cutoff over some reed switches that other housings are using? What was the rationale behind that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. In terms of the physical cutoff, it's a lot more reliable and it's a lot faster as well. So when you're talking about reed switches, they're very, very prone to failing.
Yes.
It's what some other systems on the market use, and no hate towards those systems. It's a lot easier to do, but it doesn't mean it's the right way to do it.
Okay.
So we invented our own power delivery system that we will be patenting. Also, the housing does have direct plug-in for manual gain, which is the question that you were asking earlier.
Yes.
So you don't have to void your tube's warranty to achieve manual gain. So yeah, it's just direct plug-in with EGAC. You just plug in the pigtail into the actual PCB,
Okay.
and you have manual gain.
I see. What about a 3-pin tube?
So we do have plans for 3-pad.
Okay.
We will be offering in the configuration of a PCB that accepts the 3-pad.
Okay.
For now, we will be offering it as an EGAC system, though.
That's cool. So I like that a lot because there are some departments out there that use a lot of 14s, and they might not have the budget to necessarily afford new tubes. So one option that we've been offering to people and we've been hearing about here is a retrofit option. So that does appeal to a lot of departments. Other thing about this housing is, does it have IPD stops? I'm not sure we went over that, and how do those work?
Sure. So it does have IPD stops. They follow a similar format to the LLUL. So you're going to have little grub screws here.
Cool.
That are going to be adjusted with a hex key, and essentially you're going to set them and forget them. Our whole methodology on IPD stops, it doesn't need to be something that's complicated. It needs to work, and it needs to always stop where it's intended to.
And I think you mentioned earlier those are going to be nylon tip screws or something like that?
Yep, so they'll be rubberized tip
Okay, I see.
to reduce the amount of wear that you'll actually experience on the housing. But yeah, very, very simple IPD system, and it will always stop where you actually intended to stop.
Very nice. I like that a lot. And then is it user adjustable tension on the rear as well?
Yep, so
Okay.
you have 2 Torx bit on here.
I think you had that,
And-
they're both counterclockwise, some of that, or some of that. You
Yeah,
explained that was pretty cool.
So actually, we have nylocks inside of the hinges. That's to prevent the screws from rotating. And another preventative that we took is 1 screw is right hand, 1 screw is left hand, so that they're never loosening the screws over time. So one you'll just have to adjust left to actually tighten it.
Cool.
One you'll adjust right.
That's awesome. And in terms of the operation of this housing? Is it using a digital controller, analog? How's that working over there?
So it's completely analog. There's no
Nice.
firmware in the device. There's no microcontroller. That's why we opted for knobs instead of buttons.
Right.
You just add a lot of complexity that's not needed to a housing when you go toward those microcontrollers.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with some other companies earlier, and I actually really like the knobs because it's tactile. So you can
Absolutely.
tell if it's on or off based, doesn't have to be in front of you, so you can avoid damaging your tubes. And the knob for the gain is very intuitive because it's like a volume rocker, right? So you just kind of turn it to whatever brightness your tubes need,
Yep.
and that's really nice. And it will also accept auto gain tubes as well, right?
Yes,
Or
sir.
single pin or 2-pin tubes.
So you can put this housing in any configuration you want pretty much. Something about, going back to the knobs, something that I firmly believe in is, sometimes you're in inclement weather, especially cold.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to manipulate buttons with gloves, it doesn't work too well.
We're in Canada, and we often go night hiking in the winters
absolutely.
and doing ops in the winter. So I totally get it with the cold.
This is going to be a lot easier to manipulate with gloves than any housing with buttons.
Okay, awesome. All right, so gonna get into some critical questions now.
Sure.
First off, how much does the housing weigh?
So it weighs 15.3 ounces in its lightest configuration.
Cool. And lightest configuration is with what lenses?
Lightest configuration is currently with RPO lenses and our new diopter housing.
Okay, awesome. And then the critical questions, the golden questions, is export controlled?
So currently we are getting a CJ on it right now.
Cool.
We expect to receive EAR99 on it.
Awesome. So definitely going to be carrying these when we get them. And then what are we looking at in terms of release date and pricing?
Release date, so this is now a pre-production model. We no longer consider these prototypes due to the fact that they do everything we want them to. The only thing it is missing is illuminators, which is extremely simple for us to solve. We are going to be heading into production right after SHOT Show. Anticipated shipping time to consumers is going to be around March to April.
Okay.
We never rush production. We try and keep it a mellow, decent lead time that's stomachable. And in terms of price, this is going to be the most affordable metal housing on the market at $19.99 retail price tag.
Wow, that's very competitive. That's very disruptive. And then going back to the lenses, you guys have something a little different here. Are we
Yes,
allowed
we
to talk
do.
about these?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you guys know, lenses are under a bit of a shortage in the native industry right now, so we're always looking for more options, new lenses with different qualities, just to get more options to consumers because we want different things. So explain these to me because they do look new and
Sure.
I'm very curious about them.
Sure, yeah. So these are lightweight lenses by a company called Syntec Optics. They're a partner company of ours. We're currently handling commercial distribution for them. Essentially, where these lenses come into the market and the role they play is an alternative to your typical Carson or Key Optic lenses, but lighter weight, same price tag, same performance. We've been really, really liking these lenses so far. They're optimized for P45 white phosphor.
Very nice. Very nice.
So
That is the trend nowadays.
absolutely, yeah. So your clarity's huge, and also the gain you get from the system is actually
higher?
better than Carson. Yes.
Okay.
So it's similar to RPO 2.0, but without the veil and glare issue.
Interesting. Okay. And then ETA and pricing on these lenses?
Sure. So I expect them to be available within the next month.
Okay.
Pricing retail, I honestly couldn't guess as of yet, but again, we really do think it's going to be comparable to Carson in terms of price.
Fair. It's pretty attractive, especially with the shorter housing and the shorter lens. It looks really nice.
Absolutely.
All right. So MH-1, this is probably going to be the flagship, I'm assuming, for you guys?
100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's more than just a single housing. It's a full ecosystem of products.
Do we have the monocular version that we can have a look at?
The monocular itself is just going to be an adapter that adapts onto the pod topper itself, and it's just going to give you the capability of running it as a monocular.
And are these going to be sold separately as monocular housings? Because there are going to be some people that don't necessarily have the money to spend on a binocular, but want to get into a system where they can upgrade down the line.
Sure.
So that is a question that some of our viewers are asking.
So you will be able to build as you go, meaning you can buy the monocular first, you can buy another monocular down the line,
Okay.
and then you can buy the bridge system to complete the binocular device. You can also switch to a monocular now without voiding your purge. So you keep your purge when you switch to a monocular assembly.
That's cool. That's
Yep.
cool. And the Monocular, is it going to come out at the same time as this, or is it going to come out a little bit later?
So it's going to come Q1 of this year.
I also noticed this is an Anvis lens version.
Yes, this is an Anvis lens version.
Kinda cool. For all you Europeans out there that only have Anvis lenses, this is kind of neat.
So we have a lot of things planned for Q1 of this year with this housing. Just due to the modularity, we want to create as many accessories for this device as possible, making it as customizable for the consumer as possible. You can option out the housing however you want. You can build your housing however you want. Just give consumers the freedom to do that.
Love that philosophy. I'm just looking at your case over here. It's off frame, but let's talk about some of your products that you guys already have, like the LLUL and the Aeternus. What's going on with those guys? Because those are pretty popular. A lot of people like them because they're super lightweight. Let's get into it for 2024.
So this is our LLUL 21. This is currently the articulating lightweight binocular we make. It's the lightest housing ever made, actually.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and its lightest configuration. It's only 13.4 ounces.
Yeah, and you guys released the aluminum dovetail upgrade later last year, and it was very popular.
We did, yeah. We've gained a lot more traction due to that aluminum dovetail. It's become very clear to us. People do not like seeing a plastic dovetail, so we changed that.
Any plans for this for the new year, or are you just going to kind of keep it rolling as your evergreen product?
So currently, we're going to keep it as it is. I mean, there's just too much demand to change it again.
I think you've built up a pretty solid following around this housing.
Yeah, customers are really liking it. You know, we don't see the need to change something that does not need to be changed.
Especially with the aluminum dovetail upgrade, it's a much more, I would say, complete product there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you know, it passes the NATO 1.5 meter drop test with flying colors. We're realizing that where this fits into the market is with law enforcement. Departments have been buying these things like crazy because they're affordable, they're extremely lightweight, and they're made in the US.
Yeah, awesome features. How about the Aeternus? I know that we have some fixed bridge enjoyers, myself and our buddy behind the camera included, so let's get over that. I honestly think that before we get into this, I honestly think the Aeternus is one of the most underrated housings on the market. It offers people a really great way to get into a US-made binocular system at a pretty attractive price, and it's very, very durable. I've never seen any of these break. So yeah, let's get into it. I think a bit of a sleeping dog in the NV world.
Well, first off, we appreciate that. I personally love the Aeternus as well. It's the first product we ever designed.
Still haven't broke one?
Yep, still haven't broke one.
They're awesome.
The Aeternus, it's interesting. You know, the market is kind of shifting away from fixed bridges, unfortunately. My preference will always be fixed bridge. Something we're doing to breathe back life into this housing and kind of give it more features that it deserves. We're going to be making this out of magnesium.
Oh, just like the MH-1.
Just like the MH-1.
Awesome.
With this device.
Really?
It will be a fully modular device with onboard IR illuminator, manual gain, etc. So to compete more with the RNVG, it'll still be very, very comparable in price, if not lower price than the RNVG, and it'll be accessible all over the world.
That's awesome.
Which is fantastic.
That's really cool. I love the Aeternus. In terms of the Aeternus itself, where are you guys going to put the manual gain knob? How's that going to work, the metal one?
So, manual gain knob is actually going to go in both of your...
so where this power button would be?
Pretty much. So this power button's getting eliminated. It's going to be a rotary knob instead. We're moving back toward knobs.
Knob chads, man. It's the way.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a lot better to manipulate with gloves.
Yes.
It's been the most requested thing.
And it doesn't accidentally turn off in your bag.
Absolutely. It's been one of the most requested things from law enforcement and foreign military especially. So that's something where, again, you know, we listen to those consumers and we want to make that shift for them.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, well, just a few questions to close it off. More so like questions about the industry itself. You guys are obviously based in the States, and I tell our Canadian customers this, the States is always a little bit ahead in terms of trends in the tack industry. So what were your biggest challenges last year, and what do you kind of anticipate for 2024?
Yeah, so our biggest challenges last year, I mean, this is going to sound like a really good problem to have. It was keeping stuff in stock.
Yeah, definitely can relate.
Yeah, it was honestly keeping stuff in stock. You know, the way we manufacture is by batches. We don't have a rolling production line. Those batches, you know, when they'd get delayed, it would kill us because we didn't have enough inventory around. And biggest challenge we're facing this year is actually labor. We're trying to find more people that want to be in this industry and want to, you know.
So are you hiring?
We are hiring. Yes.
Because you know there's going to be someone there that asks about that, because it's always someone's dream to work in a night vision company. And let me tell you this, it's not as glamorous as it seems.
Not as glamorous.
It's not as glamorous as it
Absolutely
seems.
You're gonna have to work with me because I'm tough.
Working with him is terrible.
Yeah, I heard.
I'm kidding. He's the best.
So much fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna hate every moment of it.
But yeah, we are hiring. It's something that we've been working toward for a long time, and now it's really hit us like a freight train where it's like we actually need to hire people.
That's awesome.
You can try to run your business on 2 people for as long as possible, but eventually you get really burnt out.
I'm sure some people try it. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
yeah, totally. It's really awesome to be working with more and more. I'm not sure if the term startup is the right word, but it kind of is. Up and coming American companies, guys designing their own stuff, coming out with really unique products. You guys have also an awesome warranty, so it's like it's basically no questions asked warranty. It's pretty great. Yeah.
We appreciate you guys carrying our products and always pushing them.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
great working with companies like you.
For sure. So we'll include the links to LLI down below. I don't know. Maybe they'll have their job listing by the time we put it down there. I'll get Claude to work on that as soon as he's off camera. But yeah, thanks everybody. We're going to be headed to the next booth here, but it was really awesome, and we're really looking forward to what LLI is going to be pushing out. We are definitely carrying the MH-1 housing. When I picked that up, I was actually very, very impressed, especially because the concern was the wires for me, and not like I trust you guys to do it right, but the fact that they're gone, you listen to those concerns before the product even came out is awesome. So
Sure.
thanks so much, guys, and
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate
pretty awesome
it.
interview. Thanks, guys, and that's a wrap.